Today, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin told CBS's Face the Nation that Russia's invasion of Ukraine had essentially stalled. He described Vladimir Putin as moving his forces into a, quote, wood chipper of Ukrainian resistance. But the invasion, now entering its fourth week, is a disaster for Ukraine. This is the city of Mariupol, or what's left of it. And today, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky invoked the Holocaust when speaking to Israel's parliament. He accused Russia of wanting to impose a Nazi-style final solution on Ukraine. The United Nations now estimates more than 10 million people have been forced to flee their homes. That's over 20% of the country's population. In Rome, Pope Francis visited Ukrainian refugees at this children's hospital. He said their suffering, quote, shakes our conscience. Tonight, Russian forces are intensifying their attacks in the southeast as they continue to dig in elsewhere. CBS's Imtiaz Tyab begins our coverage in Lviv.
Jarika, good evening. Well, Russia's ground offensive may have stalled, but its air and sea assault on southern Ukraine is only intensifying, causing horrific damage.
These apocalyptic scenes of devastation stretch as far as the eye can see. This is the southeastern city of Mariupol, once home to nearly 500,000 people, now a wasteland. Even the corpses here remain unburied as Russian forces encircle the strategically important seaport on the Azov Sea. Those afforded the dignity of a burial are put in graves marked only with crude wooden crosses. While for the living, the situation is desperate, with little food, no power, or medical supplies. The fall of Mariupol would mark a major win for Moscow. It would allow Russian forces stationed across southern Ukraine to connect with its soldiers in the east of the country. But if this is meant to be a spoil of war, it's now just a hollowed-out husk of a once great city. In Mykolaiv, and a race against time to try and save those still trapped under the rubble, after 3 Russian missiles targeted this Ukrainian military barracks in the southwestern port city in the middle of the night. Around 200 soldiers were sleeping here at the time, including this soldier, Alexander. I heard an explosion first. It woke me up and I took my gun, and then came the most devastating explosion, he said. I will never forget it. It's violence like that few here will ever forget either. This is the main train station in the western city of Lviv. Many of those who make it here will start another journey into the unknown, this time as refugees in Poland and beyond. It's where we met with Irina, who fled violence in Mykolaiv with her 2 children, leaving her husband behind. It was our home. We don't want to live anywhere else, she says. We just want to go back home. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says it's now time he and Vladimir Putin talk face-to-face to end this war.
I
want everyone to hear me now, especially in Moscow. The time has come for a meeting. It is time to talk, he said. Otherwise, Russia's losses will take generations to recover.
Imtiaz Tyab joins us now from Lviv. Imtiaz, just how serious are the Russian losses?
Well, we have no way of independently verifying, but according to U.S. officials, that number is in the many thousands, which is a staggering number when you consider this war is now only in its 4th week.
And Lviv, where you are, is known to be a vital refugee hub. What's the current mood like? What's the situation like there right now?
Yeah, it's pretty tense. On Friday, Russian missiles landed in an area close to the main airport here, bringing Vladimir Putin's war squarely on Lviv's doorstep. As you rightly point out, this is a city which has been a main transit route for refugees. At last count, 3.3 million Ukrainians are now refugees. Jarika.
Wow. Imtiaz Tyab, thank you for your reporting from Lviv.